Welcome to my cluttered garage. I'm really glad you're here. A place where we can laugh and talk and days are filled with cheer. The clouds and sun may come and go, but one thing's always clear. Welcome back, my friend. You know I'm really glad you're here. Yeah.
Welcome back, my friends. I am really glad you're here. Welcome to live stream number 29, August 2nd, 2021. Glad to see you. Hey, I see we have quite a few people online this evening already, and I'm glad to see that. Let's stroll up and see 6D is here. Thank you very much. I am feeling better. If you joined me last week, you know that I had a horrible summertime cold. We were calling it the summer cold of the decade because I had not been sick with a cold like that for probably 10 years. And I'm still coughing quite a bit. We're at like day 13 now, I think. It was like Wednesday before last when I was really knocked off my feet. And it's just been brutal. And I tell that it's kind of going around now. So I didn't start it. But anyway, thank you. I am feeling much better than I was 1 week ago, for sure. So, Margaret, hello. It's good to see you. Ready to learn. We always learn, right? I don't have a lot prepared to talk about. I was kind of counting on you guys to kind of lead the discussion tonight. So, I just have opinion tonight, I think. RCAF Polar Express, good evening to you, gentlemen and ladies. And thanks for checking on me earlier in the week, Dave. I appreciate it. MJA. Mitch. Good to see you. Got the dad jokes going. How do you get a farm girl's attention? Attract her. You have to attract her. I get it. I get it, Mitch. Hey, Chris. Chest Bay Cruiser. I'm glad you're looking forward to this conversation because I think it'll be a pretty good one. And John Ritter is on the road and listening in, so it's kind of like a podcast tonight rather than a video cast. Anyway, John, drive safe. I know you've been doing so much work helping your neighbors, your friends there that had the tree fall on their historic home. What a beautiful place. The house was built, I think you said 1887, an old farmhouse there in Minnesota, and just beautiful. And the tree went right through the gable end of the roof, and I'm hoping they can do some work and save that because it's a beautiful place. And you are a good neighbor for helping them out, cutting all those trees out. Really interesting. A lot of videos out there on Iritabit will do about this. Anyway, Orange is my new green is here. Brutal Bob. Herb, good to see you, Herb. And John and David. David White, Ross on the land. Good to see you, Ross. And David, yes, mentioning the Vermonter's house, which is John shared on the video that he is working on clearing out this property for his neighbors who they have this house in Minnesota, but they, I guess they live in Vermont or spend most of their time there. So they're over on the East Coast while he's in the Midwest cleaning things up. So anyway, glad to see that happening. Glad to see everybody. Hey, remember, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. I posted some pictures on Facebook. If you watched my last video, I hope you did. That was where I was just tilling along the road. We're going to plant some more wildflowers, hoping that they come in late fall because we really just had a lot of weeds grow up this year. But in that video, I talked about this blue heron that's been hanging out. And I took a really neat picture of it with my iPhone that morning. I guess it was Saturday morning when I made the video. And I had taken a neat picture of this blue heron. Great picture. I posted it on Facebook. I think I might have put it on Instagram. If not, I'll throw it up there. But that was really neat to see. And he's been hanging out here just fishing, I suppose. So, hold on. The cough is still there. Remember, too, throughout the evening, if you click that thumbs up, I really appreciate it. That goes for watching the videos too. You guys all know that when you're watching a video to click the thumbs up, whether it's my video or somebody else's, it's helpful. So I appreciate it. If you're new here tonight, you probably aren't new because most of the people who watch these live streams are subscribers already, which I'm curious how you tune in. Do you wait until you get a notification and does it say MCG is going live at 7, or do you get a notification right as we go live? Or do you just know to tune in at 7 and you click on the channel and check out the channel, or check out the program? I'm curious how you get notified for that. Hey, Jeff, good to see you. Mechanic Mike is here. Dennis, GP, good to see you. Gord, Gary is here, and so many others. Hey, Mechanic Mike, any update on the tractor barn / workshop? I've already got stuff in there, so I've started to use it. I did a little welding project yesterday. I'm going to be posting that by midweek. And so I'm using it. I'm still not quite sure how I'm going to close the ends in. So I'm just working on that. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is probably use just T11 plywood for the sides. I was thinking of using metal. I'm not really experienced in building any sheds out of metal. I mean, I did build that one out of metal. The one side is metal, but I don't really understand how you trim out windows and doors with metal. You know, with the wood it makes sense because the window you could just use a standard new construction window, has a nailing flange. You can nail it right around the T11 plywood, and then you could trim it out with some 1x and make it look nice. I can handle that. Same with the door. You get a pre-hung door and you mount it right to the front. You caulk around it. That's easy enough. But I don't understand how you trim around these steel buildings with the ribs and everything. It's just not something I'm experienced with. So that's kind of my delay, plus other things going on here. We're going to be getting a new septic system. Had a guy out yesterday to look at the project, and he's going to give us a quote. We have a kind of a wonky system. We don't have to get the advanced treatment system, luckily, but we're all clay around here, so it's hard for them to find sand to put a drainage bed in. So we have to actually put the drainage bed up on the hill, so we're going to have to pump up to it. I'll probably grab some footage of that when it's happening, but that's going to be a big project. Yeah, David, T11 is down. T111 is down to $38 a sheet. How crazy is that? But from $81, that's amazing. So that's kind of my delay too. Is just I see that lumber prices are coming down and think maybe I should just keep waiting. That's a good excuse, right? And somebody asked about the mower, and Ann was out mowing just minutes ago. In fact, I asked her, I said, can you be finished in the backyard by 7:50 or 6:57? So anyway, she was mowing. The mower's holding up really well, and right now it's got a flat tire. It doesn't have a flat tire right now. It has a slow leak, and I bought some of those plugs, and I pumped up the tire the other day, and it's actually cracked along the sidewall. So the only way to fix that is either replace the tire or put a tube in it. I put a tube in the other side last year, and what a pain that was. In fact, I even made a video about that because my channel was pretty new, and I think it's kind of entertaining. So if you search my library of videos, look at some of the early ones, and there's one in there. I have the whole video about changing the tire, or putting a tube in the mower tire, and then I did like a little brief music video cut of me beating on that tire to get it off the rim. Anyway, it was fun. Hey, thanks, Gary, for letting me know that YouTube says watch me live in 30 minutes, so you get a little heads up on that. And I guess it makes sense. I mean, I watch live videos, and I see those now that I'm thinking about it. So that's good, though. But I am glad that you're able to join. J&J asking a question about the chipper. How big of trees have you put in the chipper? My chipper is a Woodland Mills WC68, which means it has a 6x8 opening. So technically, you could fit something 6 inches into that hopper. My tractor, being only 19 horsepower at the PTO, is the bare minimum recommended for that chipper. In fact, they recommend 20 horsepower at the PTO as a minimum. I'm at 19, so we're just under. But Woodland Mills told me that would be fine. But I just don't ship anything really bigger than 3 inches. I mean, that's really pretty big for it. Anything bigger than 3 inches, I'll just chop it up and we'll burn it in a fire pit or whatever. So 3 inches is really the max that I like to put through that shipper. But the tractor handles it pretty well because you can adjust the feed rate down quite a bit. We are going to be doing chipping because I haven't done that yet since the big silver maple was cut down. You may have seen that video a few weeks ago. Again, one of my more favorite videos, but didn't get the views. It's not all about the views, but I put a lot of time into that video. It was kind of documentary style where Jack was cutting the tree down, Jamie was pouring the concrete. It was a crazy busy day, a lot of fun, and I had a great time shooting that video and editing it. And I just think, I mean, the concrete was kind of a side thing happening, but Jack, the arborist, climbing up in that tree using old school ropes and chainsaws, just totally fascinating. I mean, I just loved watching him work. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you go check out the one where we're, I think the title is something about happening on the same day, concrete and tree work. Really great. And then the live stream, we had Jack come on the next Monday, and he talked to us on the live stream. Really fascinating guy, and had a lot of fun with that. So, I'm looking at some comments that don't really apply to me because you guys are talking to each other, which is great. Let me get rid of this thumbs up. There we go. Back to the comments, clicking around. Yeah. Okay, talked about the wood chipper. Sorry for missing a lot of these comments. I know it's difficult. And as I mentioned last week, if you have a specific question, I would start your question out with all caps that says question, and then put your question. So if you type all caps question with your question, I might be more likely to see it. Otherwise, if you're just chatting with each other, that's just fine. Yeah, that's the truth, GP. The videos that you think would draw big tend not to, and the ones you least expect take off. I've seen that so many times. I did that little video about the tarp strap, bungee cord tarp strap for holding up your PTO. Neat little trick that I just kind of discovered and thought, let me share this. And then, like for me, a big number is 50,000 views. Like 50,000 people watch that. And then I always talk about my beekeeping video that we did last summer. My sister keeps bees on the property. We've got 5 beehives here. What so much more work than I ever realized. But they're just so interesting. And she had a swarm. And the swarm is where basically, many times, it's overcrowding of the hive. Think of it as like an apartment building, and there's just too many people in it. So there was overcrowding of the hive, and about half the bees say, you know what? We're out of here. We're going to find a new home. So a lot of times, the queen will leave because the bees follow the queen. So she leaves, and then like half the hive goes with her, and that's when you see these big swarms in the air or in a tree limb or whatever. And they follow the queen, and then who's left in the hive, they create a new queen. There's only one queen in that whole hive. So they create a new queen, and the other half goes with the old queen, and they go to look to establish a new home somewhere. What the beekeeper does is they have a hive, and they capture that swarm and put it into a new hive. The trick is they have to capture the queen. Wherever the queen goes, the swarm will follow. So this was really a difficult situation that I recorded. My sister was grabbing the swarm, and it wasn't just, usually they swarm like on a tree limb. This was up in an old bush, and she was brushing it off, and wasn't sure if she got the queen or not, but it was, at any rate, very interesting. So check that one out too, if you can. I'm not just promoting my videos here. I think they're genuinely interesting. So I hope that you'll enjoy that. But the point was that swarm video, talk about documentary style. I mean, I really did a lot of research on that, and really was happy with the way it turned out. It very much was documentary style, and it Didn't get all that many views. Hey, you know what? I did something for you tonight. I don't know if they're active, but do you guys have hummingbirds? I've been filling up the hummingbird feeders like every 4 days now. And I make my own nectar with the 4-to-1 ratio, just hot water, 4 cups of hot water, 1 cup of sugar. Mix it in, and you make your own nectar. Not colored or anything. It's just clear. They love it. But man, I think they're getting ready for their big journey out of here. So they're stocking up, and they've been so active. So anyway, I added a live stream camera, Hummingbird cam, and this is live right now. There they are. Look at that. So this is live footage, a live feed from what I'm calling Hummingbird cam. How original is that? So this is looking right out the kitchen window. You know, we stand at the sink, and the hummingbirds are pretty much fearless. I mean, they come right up, and I just love having them here. I think it's so neat. There's another hummingbird feeder hanging from that other gutter across the deck there. You can't see it because this hummingbird feeder is blocking it. So they go back and forth between these two feeders, and they are very interesting, much like the bees. It's funny because we have lately there's been 5 or 6, and they are so mean to each other. You can see, you can see it in here. There's plenty of nectar for everybody, and there's 2 feeders. You would think that, one bird would go to one feeder, one would go to the other, but no, they chase each other around, and when one tries to feed, the other one dive bombs it and chases it away, and they're just such funny little birds. So I'll leave this up for a little while because you can look at that instead of just looking at me. Tony G says his hummingbird babies became active at the feeders a few weeks ago. Is that what it is, that they're all learning to fly now and finding the feeders? Because there was a time earlier in the summer where I just had to dump out the nectar. I think they had plenty of wild nectar that they didn't even need what I had here, and they just weren't active at all. And now they're going crazy. I don't know, Phil. Hummingbirds are fun to watch, but Hot Dog Cam was a classic, don't you think? For those of you who missed one of the early live streams, we had Hot Dog Cam. Maybe we'll do that again sometime. So it is awesome, isn't it, Herb? Yeah, glad you like that. I think it's a lot of fun. Question. Good question there, Orange is my new green. Do you have wasp issues with the feeders? Sometimes. I have not this year, but there have been years in the past when I have had problems with wasps. What I had here about a week ago on the feeder across the deck, it was filled with black ants. And it's kind of ant season. We were seeing them on the kitchen counter as well. They just, certain time of year they come in. But the other feeder, and I've got these hanging from just like an 1/8 inch thick wire. Like a smooth wire, and they hang down about 18 inches from the gutter. Those ants, however they found it, they were crawling down that wire, and they were inside the feeder. It was pretty much empty, but they were inside, and I cleaned it out. I actually moved the feeder over to this other gutter for about a week, kind of fooling the ants, and then I put it back. So, but I haven't had a wasp problem this year, but I have had it in the past, and I think maybe what's helpful is I've been more attentive to changing out the nectar more frequently. I don't wait for it to get empty. I usually don't let it go more than 2 weeks, and I just dump it out and make fresh. Look at that little guy. There he is. Should I just stop talking and we can just watch the hummingbirds? Did you ever see their tongue? I don't think they suck the nectar up like a straw. They have these little tongues that are like a little piece of thread that comes out, and I think they probably lap it up. Very neat. And David White has a recipe here of using 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of hot water, and then stir in the other 1/2 cup and a half of cold water. So that's kind of the same ratio then, right? Yeah, that's a good idea, because I make it with hot water, and then I put the Pyrex container on the counter for a couple hours until it cools off. So good idea to add the cool water. Did I miss any other questions? No. There was a question about... Thank you, Mechanic White. Mike, suggestion rather than question. You could go to another metal building and look at the way it's constructed around the doors. I thought about that, thinking I just have to look at how it's done, and once it's done, I can figure it out. I watched some videos, and this one guy was like a master steel worker, and he was like cutting the trim like origami, like it was like making it completely leak proof and was beautiful. But I thought, I'm confused. No, that's too much for me. Here was a question from Frank B. What welder do you use for the small projects like the mower deck? That, Frank, is a Hobart Handler 140. Now, Hobart makes the Handler series. I think there's a Hobart 125. This is the 140. 140 and smaller run on standard household 110, 120 volt current. Go ahead, Margaret, say it. 120, 121, whatever it takes. Anyway, 110, 120 volt current. If you go to the next size, which is I don't know what's above the 140, might be the 180, that uses 220. So I bought the Handler 140. I read a lot of reviews about it, watched a lot of videos about it, and felt that for smaller projects like this, I don't do a lot of heavy welding. In fact, the first welder I ever had was an old Lincoln, that tombstone welder that you see all over the place, 220 volt arc welder, and I rarely used it because I hated it. It was good for welding anything thicker than 1/4 inch steel. Smaller than that, I would just burn right through it. It was just terrible. It was old. I mean, maybe it wasn't that good, but I just hated that thing. So last year, I bought this Hobart Handler 140 because most of what I have to weld are things like the mower deck, which is maybe an 1/8 inch thick. You can weld, I believe, up to 1/4 inch. That's what's recommended, up to 1/4 inch with this Hobart welder. I don't think I ever have to weld anything thicker than 1/4 inch steel. So I love it. It's a MIG welder, which means it comes with the gauges. You can get a tank of argon gas, and you get solid core, not solid core, maybe it is, solid wire, and you weld with MIG gas, and you don't get all the spatter and slag. But you can also use flux core wire, which is what I used on the mower deck. In fact, I've rarely used the MIG gas because I bought it used from a guy, and he only had these little 20-pound tanks, so they're really small. They run out quick. And I played with the gas welding once. Does a beautiful job, but there's nothing more convenient than the flux core wire. In fact, the flux core is supposed to be better for if you're welding outside, because if you're using the shielding gas, that can blow away and cause a problem. So anyway, I love this welder. After learning on the arc welder or the stick welder, this is such a dream to use. In fact, I've heard that you should learn on a stick welder, and if you can do that, you can do this. That was a lot of talking about the welder, wasn't it? But it's the only flux core welder I've ever used, so I can't compare it to anything else. I know that Harbor Freight makes a ton of different flux core welders, really cheap. This one, gosh, I think it's like $900 now, if I'm not mistaken. But I bought it used for like $400 last year, and I'm very happy with it. So don't rule out Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. Look for some used things. A lot of times you find people that buy things and hardly use them, and then they sell them. So anyway, yes, David, that was the one. Hobart Handler 140. And I'm looking for more questions. I don't see any, so that's good. That's okay. So what I wanted to talk about tonight is cordless string trimmers, chainsaws, things like that. By the way, I'm kind of out of whack here. I thought I would tell you a couple things. First of all, today's Dinosaur Day. You might not have known that. It is Dinosaurs Day. How fun is that? It's also National CAD Day. For those of you who are savvy with engineering, I believe they're referring to computer automated drafting or computer assisted drafting. So it's a CAD program. I think it's kind of complicated, but I've never worked with it. Anyway, if you're a CAD user, today's your day, National CAD Day. For the rest of us who don't use CAD, it's National Coloring Book Day. That's more my style. And it's also National Ice Cream Sandwich Day. Tell me if I'm wrong. Now, I don't know if it's when you're a little kid, do things appear bigger than they are, or have ice cream sandwiches gotten ridiculously small? Because I swear, as a kid, ice cream sandwiches were much bigger than they are now. I don't think it was because I had little hands. Anyway, tell me, am I wrong or am I right? Ice cream sandwiches have gotten smaller. This whole week, August, starting today, is National Psychic Week. Of course, some people already knew that. But, hey, how about a like button? Want to do it? All right, thank you. Click that thumbs up. So, back to the comments. Okay, hold on. Yeah, there's MJA has a Hobart welder. Great welder, never let you down. Hobart is made by Miller now. So this Hobart handler actually has Miller parts on it. In fact, if you buy a new Hobart handler, I've heard that the gun actually says Miller on it. Mine doesn't, but that's what I've heard, is that Hobart is owned by Miller. And Miller, of course, is a great company who makes welders and things like that. Margaret is enjoying, there's a comment here, enjoying the Hummingbird cam, but would also like to see the hot dog cam next week. We could bring back the hot dog cam. Maybe we could do that. Yes. Yes, Brutal Bob. Exactly. Ice cream sandwiches have gotten smaller, just like the half-gallon containers of ice cream that we used to get. Don't let them fool you, folks. They're not half-gallon ice containers anymore. They're like 1.7 pints or something, or whatever, but they're getting smaller. It's crazy. I mean, that's a strategy, I guess. Instead of raising the price, you just lower the quantity, and people pay the same, but they get less for it. Yeah. A lot of us agree. Ice cream sandwiches are smaller. Anyway, let's talk about battery-operated tools. And in my last video, I had a little come to Jesus moment there with the battery-operated weed whacker, just for fun. But last year I bought a 40-volt Ryobi string trimmer. And why did I buy that? I mean, because I wanted it, because I always have problems with string trimmers. I think maybe I don't store them right in the wintertime and they go bad in the summer, and I've always had a lot of problems with string trimmers. So I bought this battery-operated one, and I do like it a lot. I will say it does not have the umph that my gas-powered ones have. Now, maybe if you buy a Stihl or a Husqvarna or something that is more, more made, how do I say that? Made more for like industrial use, or known for better quality products. I mean, Ryobi's okay. I'm trying to remember. I bought two things because I had the 40-volt battery. Oh, that's what it was. I bought the string trimmer first, and it came with this 40-volt battery. Does a pretty good job. I can do light trimming for a good 30 minutes with that battery. Light and steady trimming for like 30 minutes, 35 minutes, which is pretty good because I'm usually ready to take a break after that time. But what I find is on some of the thicker brush, thicker weeds, first of all, it doesn't really have the power to cut through it. The other thing is it has a, I guess like an overheat safety switch. So you hit that big weed and it stops the motor, and then the motor kicks off, and you have to wait like 10 seconds before you pull the trigger again. Then it'll start up again. Kind of frustrating, but I realize that it's not made for heavy work. It's made for light duty around the house. I avoid string trimming at all costs, so when I have to do it, you know, I just do it. Anyway, there's Orange is My New Green, has the 18-volt Milwaukee trimmer, chainsaw, and blower. Love them all. And that's only 18 volts, so that's pretty impressive. Of course, Milwaukee is a great product. I bought the string trimmer, so then what I bought shortly after that was the pole saw. Ryobi makes a pole saw, and I bought that just because I had the battery already. I mean, they know that you're going to do that a lot of times. You don't want to have a bunch of different tools, bunch of different batteries. If you can consolidate, your life will be much better. I have the DeWalt 20-volt system. I've got the impact driver. Now I've got the angle grinder, the hammer drill, the reciprocating tool, the jigsaw, saber saw, all work with the 20-volt max batteries. So I'm pretty committed to that system, and it is pretty nice to have, you know, one battery fits all, basically. So the Ryobi I bought just because it was a little cheaper, and I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not, so I bought it kind of as a test, and I'm kind of happy with it. But I think it's interesting that companies are moving toward battery-operated equipment. I mean, companies that you wouldn't think of, like Steel and Husqvarna, they're really committing to this. And, you know, if these big companies can do it, then I think it's going to get some traction and could work really well. But I don't know. Do you think it's there yet? Probably not quite yet. But I've seen some videos on these electric chainsaws, and they have their place. You know, it's nice for these folks like Jack, who's climbing up in the tree, to not have to worry about starting a saw while you're up in the tree. You just grab it and go. And I've heard that a battery will last as long as a tank of gas, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty impressive. Here's a video I wanted to share. And let's pause the Hummingbird cam. But do you guys watch Project Farm? I can't remember the guy's name, but what a neat channel that is. And he did a comparison of battery-operated chainsaws. And really...
in the previous video on battery-powered chainsaws, the DeWalt took away the #1 position, even beating a gasoline chainsaw. The question is, can DeWalt beat this $815 steel as well as 6 other brands? Well, let's get the testing underway and find out. In the first test, we'll see how fast each brand cuts through 9 4x4s. Then we'll see how fast each brand cuts through hardwood. We'll also compare runtime as well as battery recharge
He does
times.
such a thorough job with his experiments. In fact, I wrote him a note one time or made a comment, and I said, you were the kid that really looked forward to the science fair, weren't you? And I believe his...
The Wind comes with a 2-year warranty. The Wind chainsaw is made in China. Oregon chainsaw bar, 40-volt 4-amp-hour battery, Oregon chainsaw chain, battery charger, instruction manual. The Wind uses a steel plate that's been pressed out in a couple of areas to replace the use of steel pins. While this should be fine for light-duty use, it's definitely not as durable as some of the other brands we've previously tested. Bumper spikes are typically very sharp, allowing you to dig into the wood and gain some leverage. The Wind does have bumper spikes, but they're just not very sharp. The trigger safety switch on the Wind seems like it's in a good location. From the time the trigger is pulled until the time the saw responds is called trigger delay, and there's definitely some trigger delay with the Wind.
Anyway, I believe his response was, yes, he did look forward to the science fair. But anyway, check out this channel if you haven't seen it. I mean, he does so many experiments. He's not sponsored by anybody. He buys all this equipment. He tests it, destroys it, not intentionally, but, you know, sometimes intentionally.
The bar to the chainsaw has a big impact on that. The Wind has a 16-inch usable bar length at 14 3/4.
But this is a great video. You know, he does such a thorough test with it, and he's testing everything from generic to big name brands.
The saw has a 5-year
Hold
warranty,
on.
and the battery has a 3-year warranty. The Ego is made in China. Instruction manual, 56-volt lithium-ion battery, battery charger. The Ego has a 14-inch chainsaw bar. The bar and the chain on the Ego appear to be made by Oregon. Definitely a very good location for the safety switch. Plastic bumper spikes on the Ego. The bar is secured by a single stud as well as a pin. About 6,840 RPM for the Ego. Ego doesn't seem to have as much trigger delay as the Win. The chain is very simple to adjust and install. The Ego has a 14-inch bar and has a usable bar length of 13 and 7/16 on a new chain. At only $259,
that's how it
the
comes
expensive brand would be
in waves like
is
that.
made by Husqvarna. It's the Model 120i. Lithium-ion.
Anyway, good channel, good comparison. He, trying to think. I think he made a head to a small 4-stroke engine out of wood to see how long it would last. May have to bring this video back up if I go into a coughing spell. Yes. That channel is outstanding, Project Farm, and he has a great sense of humor. Very nice. Yeah, he really enjoys what he does. MJA likes how quiet electric chainsaws are. Do you like that, Mitch? Because that's one of the things I can't kind of get past, is it just feels like it should be noisy. And same thing with, there are electric dirt bikes now trying to break their way into the market. And it just doesn't seem right if it doesn't have that sound. But maybe just kind of growing up in the muscle car era, you know, you're used to hearing all those sounds. But good point. Good point. I'm going to look at the comments here. I'm looking at comments here. Richard Klump gave up on your gas trimmer until you can replace the carb. Wanted a steel. Actually, I had a steel too that I had bought. Was not a, a great, like not a commercial one, but that thing didn't work out for me. I mean, something happened where it ended up getting so much compression I could barely pull it to start it. Gave it to my nephew, and he was happy with it. Anyway, how do I get myself back here? That's how I do it right there. And yes, David, I do have a frog in my throat. Hey, that blue heron that I was talking about, down in the stream, which is really just kind of nasty, stagnant water at this point, tons and tons of frogs. So I think that's what he's going after, because they are just all along the bank of the stream. We've got a pond in the back too, so he goes back and forth between the pond and the stream. So many frogs, and I bet you that's what he's going for. Mechanic Mike, Project Farm is the bomb. That's right. Great channel. So those of you who have not seen it, check it out. Homestead Engineering. David has been steadily replacing gas-powered equipment with electric as they wear out. Yeah, so, people are making that shift. I'm trying to remember if it was Steel or Husqvarna, and I think it was Husqvarna that I was watching a video, and they did a pretty in-depth video with their electric chainsaws. In fact, they had two arborists, or they interviewed, I think, I guess everybody has some sort of fame. I was going to say a famous arborist, which doesn't sound like anything, but if you're in that field, of course. But they interviewed this pretty famous arborist, and she really seemed to like the battery-powered chainsaw. And Chris is currently deciding between the Steel and Milwaukee battery-powered. So a lot of you are going battery power, and that's interesting. The blower, I do love my gas-powered blower. I have I think it's an Echo gas-powered blower, and that thing is super reliable. I do use it year-round, which probably helps. In the spring and in the fall, I set up an 8-foot step ladder on the back deck. So basically, it's like a set of stairs going up to the roof. And I just leave it set up for a number of weeks. And then every couple of days, I go up and I blow the roof off, blow the gutters out. And that one's gas-powered. And I'm really happy with that one. But I think the electric leaf blower would be a great thing. So somebody help Chris out here. He's trying to decide between the Stihl and the Milwaukee battery-powered blower. I would say to you, my friend Chris, think about what other things you're going to want. As I was saying moments ago, you want to have one system, one battery system that's compatible with many tools. That way you're not charging multiple different batteries, replacing different batteries. So I would say look at some of their other tools and think about what you would want to get in the future, like a pole saw, like a string trimmer. Check out those other things, and that may help you decide which leaf blower to get, because you might get a deal on the leaf blower and find out the other products are way expensive or not good. I don't know. That's my advice. What do y'all think of that? That sounded pretty reasonable, didn't it? Impressed myself sometimes. Troy is impressed with the Ryobi grease gun. Now that's interesting because I initially, when I saw the battery-powered grease gun, I thought that's really dumb because I just thought, how hard is it to pump grease, and how often do you pump grease? Well, referring to another video I made a video about the grease points on the B2601 compact tractor, and I bought a single-handed grease gun because I had the old pump style for years and years, which works great, but is a hassle because you can't always use two hands, especially when you're trying to hold the fitting in place. So I finally ordered a grease gun that has the trigger, so if you had to hold the fitting with one hand, you could pump it with the other. And what I found was that it takes an awful lot of pressure to squeeze that. Like the old pump handle is great because you have a lot of pressure and force, trying to think of the word, but leverage, that's the word. You have a lot of leverage. With the pump type, you don't have that much leverage, and it was difficult to do. Also, I had problems with the end sticking on, so I need to get one of those lock and lube fittings, which I don't have yet. So that led me to think, you know what? Maybe I will look at the DeWalt 20-volt grease gun because, again, I've got the system, I've got the batteries, and maybe I would grease things more often. Not that I don't do it now, but it would be nice. Dennis would like the pole saw. I do like the Ryobi pole saw. I haven't used that often either, but it's really handy. I like it quite a bit. Justin has the DeWalt grease gun and loves it. Good to hear. Good to hear. Thank you, Mitch. Leverage. That was the word. That's not going to be the word to... I should make that the word for the sticker tonight, but I'm not going to do that. Pistol grip grease guns. Yeah, that's what I had, and it seemed like it was too... Where's the comment? It was really difficult. Question. Here's a question from Mikey0011. Has two sets of tires for my Kubota, and the winter tires and bar tires are loaded. Maybe back tires. The turf tires are not filled. My question is, if I fill my turf tires, will it damage my lawn? I don't think I'm qualified to answer that question. I can only give you an opinion. I don't think that it'll make that much difference in damaging your lawn. The idea of a turf tire is that it doesn't leave grooves in your grass. I don't know. I mean, the added weight, I guess if you spin a tire, it could do a little more damage. But what I will say is it's going to ride different. I had my tractor for about a week before I got the tires filled with bioballast. And when I got it back and the tires were filled with fluid, it rode like a rock. I mean, it definitely was noticeable. So I think when you do that, you're going to find a stiffer ride. But does anybody out there have turf tires filled with fluid? Anyway, let Mikey know. Oh, there's an answer already for you from J&J. Thank you. Has loaded turf tires, not had a problem. So there you go. Keep in mind too, while you're already wrestling with the ones that are loaded to take them off, I was going to say you're going to be fighting a lot heavier tire to take it on and off. But if one set's loaded and one set's not, you're still messing with loaded tires, right? And Tony G makes a good point that if the ground is wet, the heavier weight could create rutting, which is true. If you have soft ground, obviously more weight is going to cause a problem there. And Frank has the B2601, does not leave impressions on the lawn unless it rained for 2 days straight, which is exactly Tony G's point. So as we continue with this discussion, remember, post your questions with the word all caps question or comment, and I'm more likely to see it. Ask your questions in the comments, and all these fine viewers will likely help you out. Meanwhile, I think we should give away some stickers. It's that time of the evening. It's like 7:45, so we should work on giving away these stickers. We had a winner last week, and they emailed me and asked me to pass them along to another viewer. So I might just do that, but can't name names because it's not John Ritter. He doesn't want freebies. He wants to earn it. But anyway, the fine folks last week are actually not in America, and they asked that I pass them along. So we'll work on that. But tonight we're gonna play a little game of enter the word. It's not really a game. Should we bring up the Hummingbird cam while we're talking? What time do hummingbirds go to bed? I wasn't sure if it would be too late in the evening to even see any, but they were out there quite a bit. It's now 7:47 Eastern time, and it's going to be getting dark probably in the next 30 minutes. Okay, I don't see any hummingbirds. B Hall is just in time for the stickers. Good job. Let me, I have to remove this thing, and then I have to add something. So bear with me. There we go. There we go. Watch the hummingbirds. Just watch the hummingbirds. So the way this sticker giveaway works, I know most of you are returning viewers and you understand this, but I have to say it. First of all, I need for you to be in the United States or Canada because I can't mail these outside of those areas. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Also, if you have won stickers in the past, I ask that you do not participate in this raffle because that would not be fair to those who have not won. So, if you won in the past, please don't participate. You're going to type a word in that I'm going to share with you momentarily. You only need to type it once. If you type it more than once, it's going to throw out the other ones anyway. So you only need to type it in once, and then the picker will pick it. We'll pick the winner. So that's about it, I think. I just have to find the. The thing to share here. There it is, right there. So the word you're going to type in to this, and this is also for the live chat only. Not if you're watching this in a replay. Obviously, you can't win because somebody's going to have already won by the time you see this. Anyway, in the live chat, type in the word hashtag tiller, which was the subject of my latest video, the tiller and the finish mower, but I used the tiller. So hashtag tiller, enter that, and we will pick the winner after we get quite a few entries. In the past, we've gotten about 30 to 35 entries, and that's a nice number. So I see we've got 4 already. So just take your time there and start typing in the word tiller. Hashtag tiller. It's up to you if you want to do all caps or no all caps. I'm not sure if it'll work, but we'll see. I like this theme song. Some of you know it. It's the match game. That would be a good one, David, a.k.a. Ritter Flail Mower. That's right. Oh, you've got a lot of entries coming in. See if I missed anything here. Sticker giveaway. This is great that we have 23 entries. You know, we normally have about 40 or 50 people watching, and we still end up having like 30 entries every week, which is great. I don't know what's going to happen when I run out of stickers, which is getting close. I should order some. We might be topped off here at 23 entries. Hashtag Tiller. Okay, well, seems like this will be a good time to hit that draw button. What do you think? I think we've given everybody a chance. Here we go. Let's see. Ross on the land is our winner this evening. Congratulations, Ross. That's exciting. Ross, you know the deal. You're going to want to send me an email at contactmcgtv@gmail.com. Send me your address, mailing address, full name and mailing address so I can get this in the mail to you. Congratulations, Ross. On the land is the winner of tonight's sticker giveaway. Nice. All right, Ross. I'm very happy for you. Ross is a great guy. Check out Ross on the Land if you haven't seen that channel. Ross has such a nice way about him, and he did a great demonstration with his birthday present, which was a wood chipper. I think it starts with the letter W. I don't remember the name of it, but he'll say it here any minute. Let's get rid of this screen. There we go. I haven't seen the hummingbirds. Maybe they went to bed for the night. Hummingbirds might have an early bedtime. So I guess we could lose that. Anyway, let me lose my email address here too. Hope you got that, Ross. If not, just back it up a few frames and you can do that. So what's our takeaway? What do you guys think about these battery operated chainsaws and trimmers? It sounds to me like quite a few people are leaning toward battery powered. More and more people are buying them. The first time I heard about a battery powered string trimmer, I thought that's ridiculous. And then I heard battery powered chainsaw, and it's like, that seems so crazy. But they work, and the technology is getting better and better and better. So that is great. There is a question here about the background behind the bird feeder. It's an oil painting that my wife bought at a markdown store, and it's because it has a big L-shaped tear in it. So she just put duct tape on the backside. It's been hanging on that wall. It's not even made for the outdoors. It's been hanging on that wall now for 5-6 years, and it's under the soffit, but it holds up really well. I guess that's a place in France. Arc de Triomphe? I don't know. I don't even know what it says. That reminds me. Sidebar here before we end. Have you guys watched the miniseries Lonesome Dove from 1989 with Robert Duvall and Tommy Lee Jones and so many other people? I mean, we watch Lonesome Dove every winter. It's like when we're stuck in the house and it's dark, my wife and I'll say, you know what? I think it's time for Lonesome Dove. It's 4 nights or 4 episodes, my gosh, it is the best miniseries. I think I have it memorized word for word. But there's a scene in there where Augustus McCrae, he's the old Texas Ranger, and he's got this wagon, and on the side is this sign written in Latin, and nobody knows what it says or what it means, and it's just so funny because Tommy Lee Jones' character says, you know, for all you know, that could be inviting somebody to come rob us, and Gus says, well, you know what? If he can read that sign, he can have it. He can rob us. So it's a good one, though. I love Lonesome Dove. Just there are certain movies or shows that never get old, and it is fantastic. So RCAF Polar Express says it is in Paris. So good. Very nice. Oh, there's Hummingbird. Justin has a DeWalt chainsaw. We're talking about that still. Good. Works great. Larger capacity. Lasts a lot longer. Awesome. Dennis, thank you for your comment about enjoying the live stream. Stay safe yourself. I'm hoping to have some guests coming on, maybe more so in the fall months. It's really tough right now for folks because, you know, it's still daylight until 8:30 at night here on the East Coast. Nights when I'm not live streaming, I'm outside. You know, we like to be outside as much as possible. So it's a little tough. But I've talked to a few different people, and we're talking about bringing some guests on in the fall. By the way, always make a comment and let me know who you'd like to see as a live stream guest, and we'll try and get them here if we can. Because, well, it's just fun to talk to people. I enjoy it, and we've had some very interesting guests. Hummingbird, there he is. He snuck out of bed for one last drink of nectar. Thank you, Orange is my new green. I appreciate that. I'm feeling better all the time. Just a crazy cough. I hope you don't get it. So, with that, we are approaching the 8 o'clock hour, and I just want to thank you for being here again on this Monday night. A lot of fun. Hey, I've got a video that, I did the video on Saturday and released it, and that was just mowing and tilling. My next video that I shot on Sunday, it's all edited and getting ready to be released. I'm going to release it Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. I just got to tweak it a little bit more, but my goal is to release it Wednesday at 7 p.m. This is a fun video. And it's got some welding in it. It's one of the implements that I bought for my tractor. It's actually the clamp-on trailer hitch. You saw that video a while ago. Not the heavy hitch that goes on the 3-point. This was the clamp-on that goes onto the bucket. I found a flaw with the design of that product, and I modified it. I modified it yesterday, and I recorded it, so there's some welding. I'm really happy with this modification. I'm really excited about it. So I hope you'll watch Wednesday at 7 p.m. or, really anytime after Wednesday at 7 p.m. But that's when it's going to be released, and it's a fun one. So make sure you check that out. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a great night. It's Monday evening, so you have a week ahead of you, and I hope you have a great week. And just, if you have hummingbirds, enjoy them, because they're going to be flying south soon, and it's always sad for me when the feeders are left there and there's no hummingbirds flying around, but equally it's exciting in the spring when they come back. Bye, little hummingbird. All right. Yes, I'll say it, Margaret. Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad. All right. Listen, everybody, have a great night. I can't thank you enough for being here, for watching the videos, and I look forward to seeing you next time.